Hello everyone, good morning. How is everyone? How was your trading week? A crazy week this last week. A lot of movement, a lot of activity. Welcome to the live stream. So today I'm going to be doing my weekly analysis with you guys. So if you like me to take a look at any specific pair, go ahead, ask me. Any specific levels as well that maybe you are looking at, that you think maybe a good zone for price to react from. Yeah, so let's have that interaction. We'll usually, so Saturdays is live stream, it's weekly analysis. Then on Tuesday it's the other live stream that I do, is more educational content or just an update from what market like the way the market opened on Mondays, and then maybe continue to look for opportunities. Saturday, today, I start with dollar index, then I go through the indices, S&P and NASDAQ, maybe DAX as well. Then I go to the main FX pairs, which then I conclude with Bitcoin and in Ethereum. Yeah, I leave the crypto to the end. And of course, comparing a little bit everything, try to see the correlation. Today is more of a higher time frame analysis, let's say like daily, 4 hour, maybe 1 hour maximum. That's where I'm going to try to find out some key levels. So it's more of a bigger picture and then to find some zones. So yeah, huge week, right? So it was full of central bank decisions, interest rate decisions. We had the Fed, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, in Switzerland as well. All over the world there was almost a decision to be made, central bank decision. We had the 75% basis point, at 75 basis points on the Fed to 325. We have 50 on the Bank of England. We had in Japan, which remained the same at 0.10. However, they finally decided to intervene when price was around 145. So when dollar yen reached kind of 145 level, it was indeed a zone that we talked about last Saturday. Fake out at highs, that fresh supply on the left side, to fake out that double top. It reacted exactly like that. Yeah, I didn't trade it. It was too fast for me. I was not there already to execute. I was starting actually to see how price could kind of start slowing down and maybe create some PA around that area. But all of a sudden we had a 500 pips move to the downside in like 1 hour and a half or something like that. So it was crazy last Thursday. Aside from that, we still even had more updates on the Ukraine and the Russia war, with Putin mobilizing more troops to go to Ukraine. We had yesterday the mini budget in the UK, where they're going to basically try to borrow more money to try to have some tax reliefs and stuff like that, like the biggest tax reliefs for the last 50 years or something like that. And you could see how the pound is reacting to that. We're going to be talking about the parity on the pound. It's going to be funny moments that we are living in at this point. Euro continue to move down. It's getting really close to a level as well that I've been talking about. So yeah, let's get started. Dollar index, right? You can see how strong the dollar has been during this last week. Basically, this is the weekly candle that we're having here. Yep, really strong bullish candle, momentum. I was a little bit aware of price. The reason, like I mentioned, when I saw price respecting this low during the CPI, I think it was the CPI data, when that happened, I was aware of. For me, I was concerned. I was concerned, or I was not so confident that price could reverse from here, because there was no engulf. Price literally respected the last origin of this move to the upside of this low, respected it, and we never had an engulf. Second situation, it was exactly this. On the lower time frame, there's a There's a beginning of this compression in there with this candle. There's maybe something else underneath, but on 1 hour you can see there's a beginning after this impulse move. Price pauses and starts compressing in here in this range, and after that we start creating this range. Something that I would have liked to see as well in order to look for a sell in there, it would have been these walls to be taken. So I would have liked to see these walls being taken to the downside, expecting then price to show. As I mentioned several times, I like to see walls being broken even before price reach to the level that I actually I may be interested to look for the sell. Hey Cookie, I don't know if you can hear, it's my kitten or cat at this point. It's a grown-up cat. Yeah, so that was one of the zones that one of the concerns that I had, or something that I was looking for. Now, was this a good level? Most likely it was kind of a fresh zone that was left behind, and we had all this liquidity, as you can see, just above it. What happens afterwards is, as I mentioned a few times, when this level that should have worked as a short, if it doesn't, most likely is going to be actually a really nice zone to do the opposite and to work as a long. So we kind of need to investigate whatever is going on within this candle. We have this demand. This for me actually is still fresh, because this wall didn't even reacted from there. Just give me a second, guys. Wanted to leave the room. So yeah, this demand actually for me is still kind of fresh, because even needed this small spike in there during the FOMC didn't really reacted from the zone. We have a small demand in there where price actually reacted to in the beginning. Maybe in the 15, can you see it? Yeah, so we kind of have this one in here, which is actually kind of where price is reacting from, and maybe a little bit underneath maybe the zone. But on the 4-hour time frame, as you were seeing before, there's kind of still a fresh level somewhere in there. So maybe that could be a good zone in the future for price to fake out these double lows in here, these lows, react from there, and have maybe some kind of opportunity in there. So that's exactly what happens, which is if a good zone that should have been respected, kind of an origin that should have been respected, to have a few kind of left shoulders in there as well. If it's not, if it doesn't work, most likely it's going to be a beautiful zone to look for a continuation, which was exactly what happened. If in here was a little bit tricky, maybe this one was maybe a little bit more easier to collect. After we break this one, we go spike there and we go to the upside. But I still decided to respect it one more time and continue to go higher. It's okay. So yeah, and as I mentioned a few times as well, so we have this kind of setup, right? And usually, okay, we are going to have this kind of support resistance level in here, just underneath the last origin is in there. And usually there's going to be two levels where price can react from. It's going to be maybe this support, this SR zone, right? After the break of that high, price may react from something from there. But then you have the zone underneath, which is maybe can align with the demand that actually broke the high. So expecting some reactions from this level, it's definitely a choice, an option. But then expecting some reaction from here is also a zone that we should look for some kind of reaction, price reacting from there. So yeah, so far it reacted from the first one, kind of in there, it's still fresh. After that, we just had the continuation to move to the upside. So that's why I'm not a big fan of entering just sell limit orders or buy limit orders, because yes, in the bigger picture, this looks like a really nice zone to look for a sell. We have all these highs in here, all this liquidity. Price could easily just go there and go back to the downs and go down. However, if you actually start paying attention that is some details of what we had in here, as I mentioned before, maybe looking for sales is no longer a good option. We had this one being respected, we have price respecting this level of structure, so then eventually just expect price to actually use this level as kind of now as a demand instead of as a supply, kind of it was kind of a resistance, now would work as a support, or what was a KM work now as a EKM or IKM. So yeah, that's why I'm not the biggest fan of just placing 7-minute orders in some zones. I prefer to look for the approach. I prefer to look at what price actually is doing on the way there. So that was dollar index, how price moved away from this level. After that, we had all these moves in here during the FOMC. So FOMC, we had the move to the upside, then move down, and instead of continuing, price actually decided to completely reverse. And just as a similar scenario, in this case, I was actually aware of this engulf to downside, but then we do create this same range that we have in here. It's quite similar to this one. So is that range that is created just before price actually reaches the extreme, with the extreme being maybe somewhere in there, or even considering this one, right? So there's a little bit of space definitely between this range in here and that zone. In this case, I may consider that this could have been an engulf to downside, but actually similar to the one exercise that I mentioned on dollar yen a couple of weeks ago. What we had in here is that after the engulf down that we had in here, price actually decided to come back here and took the orders from this origin. And yes, I do have kind of a full kind of 10-15 minutes video explaining what to expect when you see price coming out here, taking the orders from this one after we have an engulf to downside, what to expect maybe when price reach this level. Yeah, or at least should we still expect price to go and create new lows from here, or should we expect maybe price to go a little bit higher before taking the lows? For me, price taking the origin of this point here that created the engulf down is a concern then to look for when I'm looking for any sales in there. I want to see this zone being left behind, so I want to see still this demand being left behind in here. I don't want to see price coming here, or I want to see new lows being created and then to see this happen. Nevertheless, we had that kind of same structure that I just mentioned. This middle one in here, it's kind of similar to that one. Again, there's no engulf down, price still managed to just keep respecting the structure in there. And this for me is a big red flag in terms of looking for sales. I wanted to see this zone being taken, so then price could kind of do this. That never happened, so we move on. And after that, it's just a completely continuation to the upside. Now, bigger picture. We are here. There was still a few reactions from there, a few from these levels. The bigger picture, we are here. So should we start thinking about or looking even farther left than these highs? Or is price going to react from kind of this level in there? But we still have this supply in there that is still fresh. And it's maybe a zone that we could look for. I will for sure look for some kind of reaction there. Don't forget we are looking at the monthly chart in here, or even weekly. This is back in 2002, so 20 years ago. Looking at the bigger picture in here, don't have any more information to the downside of at least knowing where these lows are reacting to. Just can see that we actually have breakover lows. These lows broke these lows on the left side. So this could be kind of, yeah, we have a high, a low, a lower high, and now we have a new lower low. So it's going to be curious to see if price is going to respect this extreme, which is the high that created this new lower low, or by any chance we are going to have some kind of fake out of these highs. This is where we need to start paying attention to. I can see that we have this week in here and price victory respected it. So I'm not sure if there is an engulf to the upside in there already, showing some kind of indication. On the other hand, it's kind of, we have now this double top in there. So we may expect some reaction in there. I would be surprised if price doesn't kind of have some kind of reaction in here. But there's a potential for a fake out, maybe into there or something else in here that I will need to investigate. I'm not going to really do that now. In here, I have no idea what is this in here. So the further most historical data that I have in here is 1968. So I don't know if this is a left shoulder or not, something to consider. To look something like this. I have no idea. I have no idea if price from here continue to go higher or if this is actually kind of a relevant high to be aware of that can work maybe as a support resistance. So I have no idea what is that. We do have this level. So this one was respected by this one. So it's maybe something in there. But yeah, curious to see how price is going to react eventually from this level in here. Around maybe 117 is that the target. Maybe we have something in here before that. At 114. Yep, at 114 maybe. This week's in here. This is where price actually kind of reacted from. Right, there's no engulf, but I actually like, just by looking at this, I may actually like this small wick in there. That price never really reacts from there. I believe the low never touched it. This will actually never really touch it, just the base of it and not really the wick. Just looking at the wicks in here. Then this one may have been taken by that one. This one may be still fresh and go like this. Of course, eventually, I have no idea if this is going to happen. I don't believe it's going to happen. But above this week, it's going to be, if price goes here, expect a major reversal. Just in there. If price goes here, this small space, this will be absolutely hilarious. But this is 148, something like that. Is it 148? Below 148. 145, whatever. Yeah, I have no idea if price eventually is going to go there or not, but I left this level. This will be definitely one zone that I'll be looking for a sell above this week. Somewhere above this week, 100% I'll be looking for a sell in there, especially in this time frame. It's just similar to this level that I was talking about before. Yeah, somewhere in there. That price still reacted from. Yeah, so let's just look at the weekly. Again, at this point, looking for reversals, I will be cautious. I want to see, again, the type of price action. Yeah, just the same way that I was looking for a sell in there, as price reacted from this high in here. Yeah, so I want to see some weakness happening. I want to see some. I want to see a good approach to the level, and before even looking for a big reversal. Yeah, our index I think is reacting somewhere in here from these weeks in here. Is price going to go higher? We have this double top in there. Maybe something above this double top can be interesting. Otherwise, it may go all the way back to these levels. This was a demand that was broken on the way down. Maybe something in there to look for. Above in here as well. Push this one in there. We have these two zones in there. We have this left shoulder in there. It will be interesting to see. This is the daily. trading view? When are you going to create the fix the period where we are? What do you think about the dollar? See much more strength, the dollar, expecting it to go much higher. Yeah, this may be looking compressed. So initially price, I think it reacted from the base of this. All of this looks literally maybe some reaction from there as well. There was something in there, but it looks like almost compressed. I think price already even reacted above this level. So this can be a good zone. If you just look at this, actually let me delete this one. Something in there can be interesting. We are looking at the daily at this point. All this I think is kind of compressed, been taken above this high in here, can be, maybe you can see some kind of reaction somewhere in there. This is still fresh for sure. Price never really reacted from that level. It can be interesting. This, you have a little bit of a manipulation in here with this move going higher than these guys. So again, somewhere in there can be interesting. If you continue, this one is again another zone that I'll be looking for sure. Just above these highs again. Something at the base as well, maybe some reaction there. This one is really one of the best ones. Maybe even consider that one in there. Somewhere in here. I'm curious to see how price is going to react somewhere in there, because this is already a little bit of a manipulation with price picking out these ones. There's maybe some KM in there. Our price will just go a little bit above it. Curious to see. So yeah, at this point I'll be looking for 113, around 113.749 for this week, or maybe some reaction in there. Yep, all these will kind of compressed. I'll just draw this one as well, just to be sure where the high is that I want to see being taken, because above this high I can start maybe looking for some sales. Yep, we are close. As you can see, we have reached already 113. We are close to those highs, and this is the zone that I was looking for. So I wouldn't be surprised if, again, it's going to be Monday. Monday, as I kind of explained a few times, I'm looking for usually, especially after such a momentum day that we had during these last few days, we finished the week in such a good momentum to the upside. Usually, we are going to see on Mondays continuation, a little bit of a continuation to the upside, and then maybe the reversal on Tuesday. Yeah, so I'm expecting a little bit of a continuation to the upside on Monday, and depending how price behaves, how price starts to behave, then the reversal. And I'm going to be targeting this high as a zone to look for, and of course the other one is above, in order to maybe look for the reaction. Target these highs for maybe potential target for the highs, for any longs, and then in here to start looking for maybe some sells. That's what I'll be looking for. I think that high as well, it kind of aligns with the low that I'll be showing on euro, in the zone that I've been talking about for the last couple of months, since basically euro broke that low in 2017. The 2017 low, I was targeting that zone. B196. So yeah, that's literally what I'll be looking for. I want to see price compressing a little bit eventually. Hopefully it's not going to be such a good momentum in there, and then maybe some reversal. Another aspect that I can talk about is the same way that I'm talking about a little bit of the Monday pattern, which is usually, as I explained a few times, momentum on Friday, continuation. There's going to be a strong opening on the London Open around maybe 10, 11, something like that. There's going to be some kind of retrace, and then they are going that, because there's some maybe fresh level in there, but then they're going to have continuation, expecting at least this high to be broken. Yeah, maybe during the US session or something like that. And another pattern that usually we can see, it's especially more for Fridays, in days like this. So there's no NFP, it's not a NFP Friday. It can be even a Friday with PMI data that is coming, like starting in Asia. Starting in Asia and multi-videos. Hi man, how are you? What do you mean by MT4, MT5 ban? Thank you for watching, to being here, by the way. So yeah, on Friday, especially if we have this PMI data that's coming along, starting with Australia, then Eurozone, UK, and then with the US. If we have a strong opening on the US and on the London, like we had yesterday, we had a really strong, you can see, especially on the Euro, I'm going to talk in there, we had a really strong opening, removing from, yeah, we have a really strong opening on the London Open, towards the direction where price was already coming from the day before. One of the things is going to happen after we have such a strong candle, which is either price starts rejecting and we have a complete reversal, or if price actually kind of sustains that zone, that direction, there's a high probability that you're going to have a full trending day during that day. Even if you start bouncing a little bit, usually during the US Open, or around then the news data that's coming around either quarter to 3 or 3 p.m, we're going to have eventually the continuation. And during the next few hours of the day, we're going to just have price moving in that direction, maybe in a compression way, but price slowly creating new lows on your highs. It depends on the direction that it is, until maybe 6, 7, 8, where maybe we going to have a little bit of a rebound from there. MT4 and 5 has been banned from Apple Store. Didn't know that. Seriously. That's weird. Pennsylvania, USA. Unbound trades. You are different. Thank you, man. How are you? Oh, what time is it in there? Is it 5 hours difference? Is it like 8 AM in there at this point? Thank you for joining the stream. Yeah, so that's another behavior that you usually see happening, or pattern that you see happening on a Friday, which is exactly what you have. And if you are aware of that, then you can completely focus your attention in looking for those kind of trades. As you guys know, or if you don't know, I'm mostly a counter trend trader. So if I'm aware that price is literally just trending in one direction, even if I try to look for any reversal, I will be super cautious, or I'll just even avoid looking for those counter trend or reversal setups. But if I do, I will be conservative with my targets. If you are a trend continuation trader, you can really just try to keep holding and try to add into the positions in the right moments. Yeah. It's 7:30 and 5:20. Okay, two guys here. So unbound trade says it is 7:30 in Pennsylvania at this point. Yeah, 5 hour sequence. I'm good, man. Had a good workout already this morning. I'm still drinking my morning coffee. Usually that's my routine on Saturdays. I go to bed a little bit later on Fridays, then Saturday wake up, just work out, have a shower, breakfast and so on. Read a little bit, and then kind of I do this stream for usually 2 hours. And then it's usually day off completely. I just just spend time with my girlfriend. In terms of the method I use, well, how can I say? I look for liquidity. Liquidity is space in the market. I'm more of a counter trend trader. I like to, if I would say my kind of expertise, it will be more higher time frame reversal setups. But I do trade on the intraday, so kind of I'm a day trader. So yeah, even though I look at the bigger picture, I do trade in the lower time frame. Yeah, trying to combine both scenarios, the higher time frame, lower time frame, and so on. But it's mostly looking for liquidity. Maybe what you guys know may heard from smart money concept and so on. I don't use their terminology. I don't use what terminology do they use? Break-off structure and so on. Yeah, I may see like that, but it's mostly looking for space. Space is both ways. Space is finding space in between two levels, for example, a little bit of space in here, or space can be identifying the engulf towards one direction or another, and then looking for price to fill that space going to. Yep. And if I don't have that space, I don't have a trade. Just as I explained at the beginning of this stream, for example, one of the terms of space is there is no space in here because price respected is low. There's no engulf to the downside, so I'll be cautious on looking for sales in here. And there is no break either of this range in here to the downside, and I want to see lows being broken before price reach the level. So yeah, I'm not going to be looking for sales in here. Instead, this zone that initially could have been a really nice zone to look for sales because we have all this liquidity to collect above these highs. If it doesn't work as a sell, it actually may be a good zone to look for a long. That's kind of a simple way to explain it. So yeah, I was just looking at this higher time frame on our index, and I see a little bit more room to the upside. And what I'm going to expect is exactly this: break off this high in here that I identified on the left side, and to react to this fresh level that it was in there. After that, let's see what's going to happen. So Monday opening slowly, and then on Tuesday, somewhere in Tuesday on the open, that's where I'm going to be looking for maybe some reversals in here. Targets, of course, we then can start looking for some previous level of support resistance or stuff like that. I'm aware of this engulf down in here, so that's something that I'll be paying attention to in the future. But we do definitely still have some demands in here that we can expect some bounces on price. Yeah, I'm doing, I use MT4 as well. I'm about to go to MT4, but dollar index, I actually don't really have it on my MT4. That's why I'm using TradingView. So I'm basically, that's the only reason. I usually just use TradingView for the assets or pairs that I don't really have access to on the stock it. Small investors should sell and come out and start new startup business. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Or hold, save as much as you can and wait a few months to then start buying again before everything slows down. So now if you take a look at the indices, yeah, really broke. Now we just reacted from the zone, right? It's something that I've been talking about since ever. Since I've been looking at this all this retracing here. I actually did that really nice study analysis. I think most of you by now have seen the comparison between this bearish market with the bearish market from 1973, 2001 and 2008, right? And in all of them, basically we had this retrace in here. The retrace that we just had during these last couple of months, 3 months, basically since June. This retrace in here, it occurred exactly almost identical in the previous 3 bearish markets that I mentioned, 1973, 2001, 2008. And it lasts exactly around 2 months, around between 60 to 65 days, around 43 candles, and it was around between 50 to 60% retracement. It was exactly the same. And another thing is, it was again around September when then we had actually this big move down, or the momentum to the downside again, to resume the bearish the bearish market where we are. So yeah, we have been calling for that for a few months already, even when price was moving higher. This triple top in here, it was a natural zone to look for price to go to take it. On the S&P, actually, I was looking a little bit higher towards the supply. On the NASDAQ, it reacted precisely from the supply that it was in there. Now, I do believe we are going to continue to go down. That's where I've been biased towards to look for a continuation to the downside. Looking left, for me, how this is compressed, it has been for a while, and we literally broke this low, literally broke into this compression zone. Now, doesn't mean that there aren't any still fresh zones in here that maybe price can bounce, but personally, I want to see price going all the way back, all the way down, and to at least below these lows in here. Somewhere in there can be something, at least on this time frame on 1 hour, which may be towards this high in here, and that was created during COVID. So at least this low, I want to see kind of the indices, the S&P to go down. It was quite nice actually. The way price had moved up, we could kind of define a few zones as a compression, right? After the break of this, expect price to go to this. After the break of this, expect price to go below this. Below this, we can expect maybe for price to go there. After that, we can maybe start expecting as price breaks into another zone. This was still fresh actually. After price breaks this level, maybe expecting price to go towards this zone and somewhere in there. One thing that I also mentioned a few weeks ago when I was doing this higher time frame analysis on the S&P, anytime you had a major move down, even with the previous bearish markets, we have always targeted an important low. So just the same way that during this COVID, and I was not even including COVID in this bearish market, because COVID is kind of a singular event that just lasted a couple of months and that's it. But we have been always targeting some relevant lows. The same way that we target this low, we look left towards the other bearish markets, and you have always target relevant lows. So what relevant lows could be? At least maybe this double low could be an option, or if you actually continue to go all the way down, maybe something like that. But this double low in here could be something to look for. Of course, first I want to see price just reacting, or to see how price reacts from this previous level of support resistance in there, and feeling out this compression. But yeah, being aware that price likes to target some lows before maybe a big reversal. And this may be just beginning, right? The Fed continues to hike, everything continues to, maybe basically during all this rally in here, it was always that conversation of the Wall Street being a little bit optimistic or too much optimistic towards what the Fed was actually about to do, and expecting maybe way too soon some easing on the interest rates for next year. Looking like this, definitely I could expect some kind of retracement, and now making it look like that maybe this is going to hold a little bit, but I would be surprised if we don't continue now to the downside. This is something that usually start seeing as well, a little bit of a double top being created. So it's not going to be always that price will just come here, especially when you have such an important low, that price will just go here and break it. There is usually a little bit of creating hope on the people that are trying to look for longs in here. So creating a little bit of hope, thinking that making people think that yes, this is actually holding, but eventually, and whoever didn't really got long in here and was thinking about it, is going to start feeling FOMO. So next time that price actually is coming down, now they are going to for sure try to join, because they were regretting their decision to not go long, and price would bounce a little bit and then just going to break it. So that's what I'm expecting in here. We can have some retracement a little bit towards to this previous level of support resistance in there, until we just continue to the downside, or price doesn't even retrace this properly, and you're going to have just a complete continuation of a move down. Let's see how price is going to open on Monday. This is literally maybe a good zone to look for. We had a little bit of compression here, strong move down, we have all these levels in there as well. So yeah, looking for maybe some retracement to here and then maybe continuation to the downside. Or if price slowly starts breaking highs, that's a different story. But at this point, price really never broke any high, not even during the FOMC, when you have this big move to the downside, then kind of retrace towards this level and continue. And let's see now. Yeah, so looking more for continuation to the downside in there. NASDAQ, almost the same thing. Yep, so this is on NASDAQ. This was one of the last fresh supplies that there was. It's actually a really nice KM zone. I think you guys can see these walls in here. So price had created these walls, went up, created that fake out, and then move higher. And we have this one left in the future, because none of these walls actually collect those orders in there. So it's reacting really from the extreme of the level, but to be honest, I expect price to go down. I had mentioned a few times that this was one of the last demand zones. Price actually still respected a little bit, and after that I could see how this is compressed. You literally can see how this wall has taken the orders from this wall, how this wall has taken the orders from these walls, this one from that one from that one, and this is literally kind of one of the last fresh zones in there. So yeah, after we do break that zone in there, expecting price to fill that zone at this price, and now we are here. Yep, we are at this level, this origin. Let's see what price is going to do. Again, I'm expecting price to just break it. And as I mentioned before, opposite to the S&P, NASDAQ actually reacted precisely from the fresh supply that was in there, just above this triple top. So I was actually already expecting, when these highs were being created, I was actually already expecting this fake out to happen, then price to continue to go down. It just decided to hold it and hold it and hold it. This was around May. And yeah, what a beautiful zone for price to then come back in the future and fake out that level. Yep, with this compression and so on. Quite a nice move in there. Looking at the bigger picture and looking left. Yep, we still have this zone in there, of course. The high from COVID. I actually liked a little bit more where NASDAQ reacted from these walls than the S&P, but eventually we can see maybe this zone being taken and price going below this wall. That could be another option. Let's see what's going to happen, but I'm biased towards the downside. Yeah, that's it for the indices, and now we're going to go to the major FX pairs. So euro, right? Interesting. Yeah, we had broken that low from 2017. Price moved all the way down. Natural thing to do after breaking such an important level of support is to go down and then to retest what was initially the support, resistance. Now what matters in here is actually how this approach towards the zone, how this accumulation of liquidity, and just then in a fast move go up, collect the orders, and then go down. Exactly what he did after that. And this is actually one of the things that I was a little bit concerned, is that price never broke this high in here, which then make me a little bit concerned of in terms of looking for longs on the euro when price then eventually got here. And just the same situation with the dollar index. That dollar index had that really nice supply zone. Euro had this really nice demand zone in here that was still fresh. This one never reacted from there. Price actually kind of bounced in a few times in here. Yeah, nice fake out of that level. That actually would have been a really nice trade. I think this was Tuesday. But yeah, so we did had this supply, this demand zone fresh with all these kind of KM zones, and which we can just draw the line, and something that doesn't work, but that should have been working as a long, and it doesn't, eventually is going to work. It's just a beautiful zone to actually look for sells. And once more, it worked just like that. Great spike in there. Beautiful zone. This was during, so this was a FOMC, I believe. Your price went down, then up. Your price spiked down, went up. Literally we have this supply level in there. And yeah, nice U pattern, let's call it like that. And then price just continue to the downside. When I mentioned before regarding this kind of Friday pattern or Friday expecting then that like the specific behavior on a Friday session, it was this one. This was the one that opened. You can see how strong the move to the downside it was. Really strong, to be honest. And after that, if we have such a strong move to downside, especially after breaking important lows, one of two things should have happened. If you want a reversal, price should kind of spike almost immediately afterwards. It should have shown some kind of strength to start reversing and not continuing. If by any chance price has this strong move down, retraces, but then manage to continue to break the low and continue to break the low, expect then price to, on that session, Friday, expect just price to continue to go down. We had this small retrace, and then during the US Open, there you go. Collect this liquidity from this highs. We have this fresh supply in there, and price just dropped. I actually sold in here. Yeah, after the fake out in here, I sold it. I was pissed with my exit. It was a mistake because I used this trading box in here. I didn't know that when price breaks the trading box, it closes my order, because I was looking for a scaling to the trade. Because I opened the first one when I saw kind of this was being broken. I was looking for a way to open a second position, and all of a sudden what happened is that actually I just closed my perfect entry. Way too early. But yeah, so if you are aware of that pattern, that's exactly what I'll be looking for. US Open, just a continuation to the downside. So we had the US Open, and then you had the PMI data coming out in the US around quarter to 15 minutes later, just a continuation. Now, bigger picture is this one that I've been looking for, right? You guys know it. I've been looking for price to go below this low. For me, all this was compressed, so I didn't like anything in here. I could see some price kind of bouncing because this is a weekly or monthly chart. But bigger picture, I will be definitely looking for price to go below this this week in here. Yeah. The reason for that is that, second, as you can see, literally we had this big impulse to the upside, and then price kind of pauses, and I actually do like that engulf. This for me is already an engulf to the downside, this one. An engulf to downside on the way up. And this small detail usually works quite nicely as a target for the future. If by any chance you open a short position when price now is turning to the downside, somewhere on the way down, it's a beautiful zone to look for a potential final target. Find this engulf. Usually you see that engulf happening. Find this engulf that is created, engulf to the downside when price actually is going up. And look for the next level of structure, which is maybe somewhere in there. And that's actually where I will be looking for price to go. I think price this on Friday did close by breaking this low in here and having some kind of reaction. But again, Monday, I think price will maybe just resume the move to downside until may react, until get close to these levels. And now we are into a new zone. How this looks compressed a little bit as well. So maybe expect some reaction in there, and then maybe can start even looking further down to look for another zone to look for. Yeah, euro, right? It was quicker than I even ever imagined our price could go there and go that well. I was calling for this level already a few months ago, even when price was approaching the parity, but nowhere near even like breaking parity. Was not even still kind of a talk in the market, in the mainstream. But yeah, there you go. 0.96, that's the zone that I want to see being broken, and then let's see, after price breaks this low, we can start seeing some retraces to the upside. This level in here is quite nice as well, if price goes all the way there. 0.89. Don't know if it's going to get there, but if it gets there, we'll see. But I do like that somewhere in there as well. This looks compressed already. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the euro is going to do. Yeah, so that's for the euro dollar. Yeah, so at this point it will be maybe looking for some continuation to the downside until actually I see that wall being broken. Maybe this level in here could be interesting to look for. Maybe I still have even this level in there to look for a potential zone. So I'm not going to be trading the London Open on Monday. I want to see which direction price actually is going towards to. If it continues to go down, then I'll be looking initially for some reversal at around maybe 10-11 AM. I'll try to find something on the left side where price may react from, and after that I'll be looking for the continuation to the downside. Yeah, for a bigger target on Monday. Yeah, reversals or big longer term reversals, more just for Tuesdays. Yeah, nothing much. I wish I could go into more detail or more time frame on the left side, but that is like 20 years ago. Maximum I can go is just to the daily time frame. So yeah, nothing much to be talking about. From last week, again, like you mentioned, price was somewhere. Yeah, price was somewhere in there. That's where it opened. Big move down. Continuation. I was looking for some reaction from there. We actually still reacted from this zone, which was one of the last demands. It was actually in there. We had the reaction in here. Price went up, but it just continued to go down. In the bigger picture, this was actually an important zone. So no surprise that after that, price will still react from there and go and continue to go down. Yeah, what doesn't work? What should have worked and it didn't? It's a beautiful zone to look for the opposite. Yeah, that's euro dollar. Nothing much to add into it. I will be looking for price to break that level, and then I'll be looking for maybe initial some reversals. Pound is just crazy, right? Yesterday, if with the Bank of England interest rate decision, we had already a little bit of a move to downside, but yesterday with the mini budget announcement, it was a complete free fall on pound. I have no idea where price is reacting to on the left side, so at this point I'm nowhere near to be opening any trades on the pound. Again, this is when being a counter trend trader, a kind of tendency would always look for reversals. I just decided not to even look at the pound, because how my brain works is that I will be looking for longs instead of looking for ways to continue to the downside. And I just protect myself by not even trying to attempt any short in any trading here. If you guys are trend continuation, most likely the pound has been one of your best friends, because there have been maybe some opportunities to look for ways to rally this move to the downside. So yeah, interesting to see. There's definitely maybe some zones. Start looking for highs that should have that can maybe be worked as a fake out. Literally, I'm just looking at this now. This supply respected, 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 and this supply has been even touched a little bit in there. This is already end of the session, and price still even went down. It's just unbelievable. Our price is just moving and respecting every single supply on the way down. Right? no breaking of highs, no breaking of structure to show any possible reversal. It's just move down, respect the next level, go down and move on. And here as well. And there you go. Starts again. Supply, 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 supply. And there you go. Just unbelievable. And one thing that we can notice when we start having this starts to be compressed, right? So if we start having every single supply being taken all the way down, eventually this becomes compressed. Eventually we can have maybe a little bit of a turn and to feel the other extreme of the compression in there. And then maybe reassess, is this going to respect and go down from there, or we're going to even break this high and look for the next one. It's a good exercise to do. Yeah, pound, nothing, literally nothing to add. Be careful if you are looking for any reversals. If you're trying to buy the dip, just don't be crazy. Stay away from it. Wait for proper weakness. Wait for price to actually start breaking relevant highs before even attempting to look for any reversal. Is the pound going to go to parity? That would be kind of even a stupid thought to have a few months ago, but the way things look like, it's becoming more a reality, right? So we are already below 1.1, so maybe pound is the next one to go towards parity, which would be hilarious. Yeah. Which pairs do you usually trade, Ambo? Is it like Forex as well? Is it more crypto? Like, is it indices? What do you look for in the market? Are you kind of a trend continuation, the reversal? Are you looking for scalps, day trading, or kind of? Yeah, that's pound. We can see on the other hand euro pound, for example. Crazy move once again, but it was expected, right? So this was a little bit expected, especially after the break of this. So this actually on a higher time frame, it was quite nice. I think I mentioned this already the last live stream. I had this engulf up. I was actually looking for price to go a little bit farther down and not stopping here. Because this was never really got there. It was the origin, and we have a really nice zone to look for then the continuation. This for me was engulfed to the upside, and there was a good setup in there to look for, and after that is literally just going up. Looking left, how this looked compressed a little bit. I think last week we talked about maybe a zone in here, something in there or something like that. I think we talked about it. Price just completely ignore it, which may work as something on the other hand. But this looks completely compressed. We can look on the daily. I need to start kind of deleting a lot of lines that I have in here. This looks completely compressed, and there is no surprise that price will just fill it. And again, when you have such a compression zone, there's no surprise again that price will just or can fill out that zone in a really strong or fast move. In this case, just this in a daily candle like that. Because how this is compressed, there is no more orders. Price has been taking all those kind of sell orders on the way down, so it's free to just go. Yeah, compression filled. Maybe now into this level in there can be some reaction somewhere in there, or price will actually just continue to go higher. Yeah, personally I'm still not a big fan of whatever is going on in here. It's a lot of spikes up and down. I really don't like it. By the way, if you want to see any examples of compression, I think you can literally just look at this pound. Kind of, you can see this one, strong compression downside, fast move up, strong compression to downside, strong move up, and you have all this compression. Jesus, pound sometimes, euro pound sometimes can be. Imagine trading this. Imagine that you are looking for the sell all the way down in here, going out through all this battle, and then on the other hand, as soon as you buy it, it's like it feels the same move, maybe a month move in a day. Imagine. Yeah, your mental strength to go through all this move to downside. Jesus, imagine. That's why it's important sometimes to pick your person. Yeah, otherwise, regardless of how good as a trader you are or whatever, if the pair is not moving, you are not going to achieve the best performance that you can. So you trade euro, dollar, franc Swiss. If I ever look at ICT, first time that term is used on my stream. To be honest, no. I've watched maybe a couple of years ago, started watching one of his videos. But he was just like talking a lot about, or complaining, or I don't know. It looked like that he has a big ego. Maybe he has reasons to have it or not. I don't know. I don't really care. And I didn't really got to the material. To be honest, at this point, I'm already completely comfortable with the way I look at the market, and I was not looking to add actually anything new. More of trying to identify some details by analyzing the market every day. I think that's even the best way to eventually learn. Is yes, you need to have a little bit of a if you're a complete noob, if you are new, of course you need some guidance, and you need to learn from someone. After you start being aware of those concepts and to learn them, eventually you need to start, you're going to start improving by repetition, by analyzing the markets yourself, by doing backtesting, trading live, and so on. And it's going to be by doing all those things that you are going to start noting some details that you are going to see, okay, this is happening, okay, I can start seeing some patterns happening that are like this. Yeah, and eventually you want to stop looking elsewhere for new tips, for new kind of golden strategy that maybe is going to save you from or to help you to achieve consistency. Yeah, I've seen, like, it's impossible not to heard about him because of all the tweets, everything on Twitter is on. Everyone mentions him, even on YouTube. Some guys that maybe you follow start doing his membership stuff. I'm happy to see, regardless of the strategy, I just want, like, the main goal is for you guys to have consistency and to make it, regardless of the whatever. Yeah, regardless of the strategy that you apply, if you think that just by following someone that you're going to be consistent, it's hilarious. That's not true. You need to do the work. And that was one of the rabbit holes that you can go through, which is you learn something, you start getting good at it, but because maybe you're still missing some trades or not achieving consistency like you want, instead of looking inwards, you start looking for something new. So let's pretend, I don't know, like you start studying SMC, like smart money concepts, whatever. You're not really happy with it. Now you go to ICT, then ICT, maybe you're still missing something, then you go to something else. There's going to be a point that you should say, enough. I already have enough knowledge. It's about time to actually do my own work, which is journaling, which is tracking your own trades, identifying your mistakes, finding ways, small ways to get better. Look inwards. Stop looking elsewhere, start looking inwards. That's when you make that decision. Maybe you're going to actually to start being a little bit more isolated, because it's even hard then to always go to Twitter or to some forums on Discord or something like that and seeing everyone always posting their own things or stuff like that. I think there's a phase as a trader that you need to kind of go self-isolate a little bit and to actually work on your own strategy and fine-tune what you actually like. After you do that, and after you feel completely comfortable, you can go back and start looking for what others are doing without being distracted by what they are doing. Otherwise, you're going to always feel distracted. Start always not focusing on what you are on your own strategy, but trying to adapt few things here and there, and the consistency is going to be hard to achieve. That's my main point. And it's a journey. It's going to be a journey, because it's easy, like even unconsciously. For example, let's pretend that you had a week where maybe you didn't really trade that much, or maybe you didn't have as many setups as you like. If you are doing this full time, if you basically spend 8 hours or 10 hours in front of the screens trying to look for setups, if you have 2-3 days without being active, unconsciously you're going to start looking for something else. It's just how you start behaving. Maybe you can start spending a little bit more time on Twitter. You see some guys sharing some winning trades, and now, okay, let me see what this guy is doing, right? So you start getting distracted. Maybe after those 3 days that were maybe you were not that active, the next 2 days, maybe actually there was really good opportunities if you had followed your own strategy. But now you are distracted, you don't execute them, and all of a sudden you are not achieving or not getting the results or the winning trades that you should by following your own strategy. So being aware of even maybe that distraction, it's already important. Yeah, that's why try to focus on daily tasks, focusing on your own strategy, and then you can start this. You can go through Twitter, seeing 50 different guys making money, 50 different strategies, and you are comfortable. You are not even jealous. You are not feeling FOMO. You are not feeling upset because you are not catching the trades, or feeling like sad because you feel that everyone is making money except you. It's not true. But yeah, move on with this. Just as a short reply. No, I haven't really looked into his concepts. ICT. Yeah, sorry for this long answer. Euro pound, right? Yeah, continuation to the upside. I don't even really like anything in here, but maybe there's going to be some reaction somewhere in there or above this compression. Let's move on. Yep, let's go to yens, right? So yen, this beast of a move, crazy move, and something that we literally predicted last Saturday. I was literally looking at this zone in here for price to fake out this double top, similar to what I mentioned in terms of when we have an engulf down and price comes back here, takes the origin of this move that created the move down, the engulf down. I'm not really looking for price to now from here to break lows. I'm not expecting that, because this zone has been taken. So actually I'm now looking for price to break these highs before even breaking these lows. Nevertheless, this was an engulf down, right? So I explained this. I have a full video, kind of 10 minutes video, explaining an exercise that I actually shared on Twitter, a challenge. When price was in here, I asked, should we look for sales or not? That was maybe not the right question. The question was, should you expect price to break these lows from here? Because this for me was an engulf to the downside, okay? And if this is an engulf downside, this would be naturally a really nice target after price reverses. Looking left, there was a beautiful zone to look for that we talked about last week, and which was that one. So this is where price was reacting to last week, and we had this beautiful supply above these highs that price never really got there. This is literally maybe one of the last supply zones inside this high. This is 1998, right? When we have this left shoulder, this is maybe kind of a KM zone, right? We have this fake out in there. Price retraced, never really got to this to that supply, and then it dropped. So yeah, this was one of the zones. It didn't really still react from maybe that supply level, but the only thing that I wanted to see was price to break these highs. Maybe it reacted from the base of this week in here. Maybe that's where it reacted. Actually, I think it reacted from that line. It got really close there. Again, I can't really go into the war time frame. It's 22 years ago. only thing I can, 24 years ago, the only thing I can go is daily, on the daily time frame. But yeah, this was the level. Last Saturday we talked exactly about that. And yeah, I woke up this morning, I woke up Thursday morning, I was doing my morning call with the guys, and all of a sudden price just drops. I woke up Thursday morning looking or thinking about looking for sales on dollar yen and dollar CAD, and literally even before I start thinking about it, price had already dropped all this. And to be honest, after I saw all this move down, I literally decided I'm not going to be trading today. So literally Thursday, I had a really busy trading day on Wednesday during the FOMC. I was kind of fighting with dollar CAD. I was still tired from the day before, and then as soon as I saw that price literally moved away from this on both pairs that I wanted to look for trades for the shorts, I was not in the mindset to continue to trade. So Thursday actually I just literally took the day off after kind of 10 AM. I didn't look for any trades. Yeah, this move, right? And as I mentioned, this was the target, one of the targets. Just below, again, this was an engulf down for me. This low took that low, so it was an engulf down, but price then reacted from this origin, and price just went all the way there, and it reacted now from the target. What to expect now from the end? It's that's a big question. It's a difficult one to answer. Are we going to find? First of all, now we had a little bit of this price just took this one. We used to see how price is going to react from here. But all of a sudden we have around a 500 pips range that price can be playing with, right? And are we going to see price bouncing in between during the next few weeks? Are we going to see by any chance price now kind of resuming and going to the downside? It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe we're going to see some kind of range. I could still see price going further down. I do like this these left shoulders in there. We have a few weeks in there. Price kind of moved really fast to the downside. And anytime when you see price moving way too fast to the downside, eventually we are going to see price kind of slowly, maybe in a compression way, we are going to see price slowly going up, and maybe going close to the zone in order to collect the orders. This was too fast to even collect any orders that everyone was expecting. Just similar to the, if you guys remember 2015 big drop on the dollar franc Swiss, actually any franc Swiss pair. Interesting enough, as you can see, when you have this big drop, when I had this big drop on the Euro franc Swiss and across all the franc Swiss pairs, can you see how price slowly. So this was January 2015. It took 3 years and 4 months until 2018, April 2018, for price to go. And guess what? Guess exactly where price reacted from. Who would imagine, right? Exactly from the supply where it had this big move to downside. It took 3 years to get there, to kind of collect the remaining orders that were kind of left behind in there during that fast move. And imagine, right? There you go. Reacted from there, and after that we have all this move to the downside. I think dollar franc Swiss is kind of an interesting one. But imagine, right? Yeah, I trade supplies, and I literally just waited 3 years and a half for price to get to there. But no worries, now I'm a happy man, because actually price moved again, like I don't know how many pips from there. Yeah, maybe 2,500 pips or something like that. Yeah, right. So usually when you have such a fast move, even though I do like kind of the liquidity that has been kind of created already a little bit on the left side, even with a little bit of these spikes in here. Yeah, so we had actually quite a few spikes in here. I think this one was during the interest rate when everything stayed the same, but price then this was Thursday night. It was like 2 AM in the morning, something like that, Asian session. And then, yeah, around the London open, There was actually really beautiful PA to trade, but I was starting to go. I wanted to start seeing some kind of weakness on price. Yeah, I was not expecting that. Imagine that you literally sell this candle in here, which is a beautiful supply. This is actually Quasimodo pattern in there. Imagine that you sell in there, and 1 minute afterwards, you are already with the 200 pips move into your direction. I was waiting for price to see a little bit more weakness until kind of the reverse. And because that didn't really happen, it was quite fast, I wouldn't be surprised if price eventually gets closer to that high again before maybe then resuming the move to the downside. Yep, I actually do like the fact that we kind of we managed to create a new low, and we didn't just move down and continue. If this happens, there's maybe a high probability that eventually we may fake out the high, but we actually managed to go down one more time and actually break this low. I do like that. I do like that fact. That price actually managed to break a new low, because it may give an extra confirmation that actually, yes, that's where we want to go. We want to go down. Yeah, let's see. Another question, it will be, okay, the Bank of Japan decided to intervene in the market when it got close to that 145 mark. So are we going to expect for them to do the same as soon as we get there? Are they going to again intervene and push the yen? That's kind of a good question to have. Let's see what's going to happen on the dollar yen. Last week there was a better way to predict it. At this point, it's a little bit tricky, right? You can have some erratic moves. Anytime maybe you can see something like that, there's maybe some big bank entering some kind of orders or accumulating some positions. It's going to be interesting to see what the yen is going to do. Another level that we actually talked last week, it was this zone, just more of as an intraday zone, which is exactly where price reacted to during the Fed. It was one of the last origins in here with this left shoulder. That level was one of the zones that we talked about. Yeah, somewhere in there, which was actually a really nice zone. But price after that just respected this wall and continued to go higher. Thank you, Humble Trade. Yeah, good to have you here, man. Have a great day. Yeah, it would be my pleasure if you could continue to be attending the live streams on a regular basis. Thank you for your input. Yeah, thank you, man. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so dollar yen, that's where we are. In terms of the other yen pairs, because now if you want to actually consider any big move on the yen, and actually this is something that you can look at the yen index, something that we have been looking at a few times. 1 second. Something that we have been looking at a few times, which is this this yen index. Right, you remember I was looking towards this support resistance level in here for price to bounce from, which actually it did during the FOMC, a spike in there really close to this support resistance. But then we had this space created between literally kind of this low and maybe that next demand zone, but maybe this week could be considered. But I just wanted to see this week this low in there to be taken, which it was. And after that we had the massive move to the upside. So looking at this bigger picture, what maybe you could expect on the yen, maybe continuation to the upside. There's maybe a few, this may be almost kind of compressed, and eventually price can go above this high in there, and let's see how price is going to react from there, or eventually go towards to that level. So it's going to be interesting to see. On the other hand, actually price went there. We can see already this spike down, Price literally, yeah, it already retested after this move, big move up. It retested this level, and it just continue to move upwards. There's definitely still some orders in there, some zones to look for. But yeah, looking at the dollar, at the yen index, that's something to look for, which helps, right? It always helps to have this extra confirmation. Something else that we can look at, or maybe what to expect, is actually to look for the other yen pairs, right? And that's actually something that we noticed when this yen pair, when this dollar yen had this move to downside in here. So we had this strong move to downside. And something that we have seen is that the dollar yen is a little bit lagging comparing with the euro yen, for example, Aussie yen, or even pound yen. So dollar yen has been lagging. Even when yen made this move, I think the dollar yen was still somewhere in here, and euro yen had already made all this move and even collected all these orders. All right, so euro yen had already made this move, and only afterwards dollar yen joined. Dollar yen basically last week spent all the week in here in this range, when we had already euro yen, Aussie yen, and pound yen making a really big move to the downside. And then, yes, kind of 1 week afterwards, finally we had this move on the dollar yen. So we have seen that dollar yen has been lagging comparing with the other ones. So this is what I mean, right? Yeah, so we had already all this move to the downside on the euro yen by the end of July, something like that, when the dollar yen was still up. And in here we had already all this move down on the yen, on the euro yen, when dollar yen was still somewhere in there. It even still created a new high, right? Which didn't really happen on the euro yen. Yeah, I missed this. Yeah, this was one of the short that I was looking for. I think it was Tuesday. I missed it. Price just kind of paused. Yeah, maybe my bad. Didn't really look at this SR zone. I was just looking at that level. Completely missed. Yeah, it was a really big miss, to be honest. My bad. Maybe defined the supply incorrectly, because I like this liquidity in there. This was actually a really nice short, and I like this compression, and we had just broken this wall. So the room to the downside was there. Even when price was still in here, I was still looking for a short. It would even be kind of take this high in here and react from there, or go a little bit higher and maybe react from something in here. Yeah, price just stayed in there. It was the move to the downside, and I can see maybe price still continue, or have the potential to continue to go lower. So if you start noticing that maybe even the other yen pairs have the potential to actually have a bigger move to downside, maybe that can reinforce the idea that maybe dollar yen can also follow them, because we already have all this liquidity created in here. So we already have all these highs, which is important. We have a really nice kind of indecision in here, and then the final fake out, where euro yen, sorry, is reacting to on the left side, is also a really nice zone. So this Quasimodo level in there, that left shoulder, yeah, you can kind of look at it like this. This can be a really good zone to look for. On the other picture, I think we are literally now approaching this higher high in here as well, kind of, right? Imagine that maybe from this high, somewhere in there, we actually want to go and maybe retest all the way back to this level. So yeah, maybe all this intervention from the Bank of Japan and the dollar weakness and the euro weakness as well can help maybe price to go lower. Maybe this is already an engulf down, price then kind of respected in there. Yeah, I do like it. I like the potential of euro yen maybe actually going and have a really deep move to downside from there. I still like this supply, so we just reacted from this left shoulder. We kind of have that supply in there, and I kind of still like it in the potential of we have a fake out of that high. But nevertheless, in terms of PA for a big reversal, I like this left shoulder. Now this accumulation of highs in there, that manipulation, I like kind of that we already managed to break one of the lows in there, a little bit of a compression. and with the potential to go and go maybe somewhere all the way till there. We have something in here that price can bounce from, but maybe we're going to have this happening. It can be interesting, yeah, now I literally, yeah, I definitely draw it incorrectly. I should have concerned this level. Really bad from my side. It would have been a really good trade. Yeah, and even if you look at the Aussie yen, a little bit of the same. I mentioned that last week. The breakout of these levels in here, they are amazing zones to look for higher time frame reversals, a long and big reversals, and you can see, right? So last week it was even in here. That was during CPI data, really nice spike, and the continuation. This is full compressed. Again, I mentioned it. This is literally full compressed, and not just compressed. Price actually even broke a low on the left side and then start the compression, and this low never really reacted from the next one, which may be in here. So this can be one of the zones maybe to start looking for some kind of reaction on the Aussie yen to the upside. So yeah, we have predicted a few months ago this beautiful move that we had this engulf down. We had another engulf down in there, that this was a target to look for. We predicted that one. It worked precisely like kind of as we looked for. Price went up from there, and now we have the next one, next big move down. This is definitely kind of the one of the targets to look for, this move to the downside on the Aussie yen. Yeah, literally that can be one of them, and the potential to even go a little bit farther down. Yeah, and it's actually interesting. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to mention. It's actually interesting to see what the way price actually moved or behaved, right? So on the bigger picture, as I mentioned, we had all this big compression, but look at what actually price did, right? So this is kind of the beginning of that extreme, or the beginning of the compression. After you break this, you can expect price to go down, and that's exactly what they do. They broke it, they reversed, they went to one of the extremes, which kind of could be this high that created this move down. Or if from here price could have done two things, actually three things. It could have been this kind of break compression, retest kind of previous level support resistance, go down, retest and go to the most recent kind of origin or high that created the move to downside. Or on the last scenario, it would have been, yep, let's actually have a deeper retrace and go a little bit to the origin of the move since we started this move down, and from here maybe we could have that move down. This would be the most ideal, because most likely it could create a much better risk reward in order to look for that trade. This is actually also a really nice zone to look for. Yeah, so this one and this one, usually that's what I'll be looking for. Just to break, retest and go, kind of a breakout setup. I usually don't really trade those setups. But yeah, quite interesting. It breaks the compression, opens the door to fill it, and there you go. We have all this space to fill all the way towards this holes, and I wouldn't be surprised if slowly that's where we are headed. Initially on the higher time frame, I was looking at this kind of wick, which is actually this demand zone. It's quite visible. However, be aware of this SR zone as well. Maybe in here can be the first reaction after the break. After the break of this low, taking the liquidity from these guys, maybe in here can be the first reaction on the Aussie yen, which is actually something that I will be paying attention to, right? Yeah, because it's actually something that I like to look for. I can expect some reaction. Doesn't mean that price from here is going to go to the moon. Maybe just from here, it may just retest this next level of support resistance. Let's pretend that price now from here goes down. It eventually fake out that low. It reacts from here, and it can easily just go all the way back towards this next level of support resistance. And that's your target. You don't need to go from here, expect price to just completely go to the moon. Unless maybe you start having some breaks of a highs on the way down, and maybe now you can maybe look a little bit higher, and maybe this level could be the next zone to look for a target. But for now, literally next level support resistance, maybe that's the target. Because even though I may be expecting some reaction in here, doesn't mean that price from here is going to go all the way up. Maybe just a small retrace and then a continuation to the downside. The probability of looking for sells or expecting price to eventually to continue to move lower, it's still higher at this point. So you can manage your approach targets like that. Yeah, all this has been the yen, and we can actually just finish with the pound yen. Pound yen is a little bit different, has been kind of ranging. I did a full exercise as well. I need to start sharing those just as individual videos of how this moving here. So how this one had already been an engulf to the upside, and what to expect, and maybe some opportunities that we could see when price was moving like this. It was actually somewhere in there when I did the exercise. Anything on the right side was afterwards. But yes, I was expecting already price to go higher after this low. Yep, it went all the way up to this origin in there. It has been trading within this range, and yeah, this was a really natural target after breaking, after price reacted from this level, and especially after all this negative news on the yen. What do you expect now from the... I can actually delete this. What do you expect now from the pound yen? Let's see, maybe continuation of a move down. This is actually quite scary, this strong move down on the pound. Yep, let me just look at the bigger picture. Yeah, bigger picture, I actually like it. I can literally see price going a little bit further down. Because we had all these highs, never really got there. This is one of the SR zones in there. This was maybe a key M that price should have been respected. It wasn't. And maybe something in here. It was a demand zone that also should have been respected, and it wasn't. And it was now respected on the way down. Yeah, is there anything in there? Yeah, we can see that we had these highs in here. Most likely this high has been faked out almost for sure. Yep, it was faked out. It was almost for sure that it would have been faked out. So anything above this height would have been maybe a nice zone to look for a sell. Yep, we have all this structure. Literally this spike took the supply from there above all these highs. Really nice zone actually to look for a sell in there. And do I have data? I cannot go more much. I don't have more data to investigate where price was in there. But yeah, in between that space, that's where maybe price reacted from. Yeah, somewhere in there. Wait 1 second. Yeah, somewhere in there. Really close to that level. Yeah, nice reaction on the yen. Okay, yeah, more room to the downside, kind of what to expect. On the pound yen. Yep, that's done. Aussie continues its move to the downside. Yep, nice compression, nice really reaction from that. Nice reaction from this supply in there. After that, price just continued to move to the downside. It kind of created this compression. I was kind of expecting compression to be filled. Maybe there's something in there. This was during the FOMC. Of expecting price to actually go a little bit higher. It didn't. Maybe just respect from these lows in there. This level of support resistance. That's kind of where price reacted to. Yeah. Now on the left side, where are we? Where are we heading to? Yep, tricky. We may have this level in there. I was looking for price to break something in there. I need to see exactly where we are. We are in here. Yeah, I think price is still respecting this this low, but I kind of see this low already as an engulf down, which eventually I would like to see price actually going farther down, taking this low away from there and continue to go down. Maybe something in here can be an option, but at this point it's going to be tricky. I will be being aware of some zones on the left side, but I actually want to be more concerned as well is how price is behaving. Is price creating some kind of compressing? Is price managing to break some highs before I actually start looking for some big reversals? That's what I want to start seeing on the Aussie. I don't even know why I found this. I need to do a cleanup on my charts. Yeah, this level can be interesting. Below this low, that's way too far away. Still where we are now. Yeah, it's going to be tricky. I'll be playing buyer. I'll try to see how price is approaching some levels, and the approach. Right, I want to see highs starting to be broken to give me a little bit of idea of a potential reversal. Yeah, at this point, for example, literally above this high, it's maybe a nice zone to look for a potential sell, which maybe somewhere in there could be a possibility. But yeah, maybe continuation to the downside on Monday, until price trend continues until maybe find some reversal. But yeah, I will be trying to find out on the left side, on the lower time frame, some demands that are still fresh, and to see how price reacts from there. Nothing much on the Aussie. Right, I want to see price evolving, showing me a little bit more. Euro Aussie has been, with so much movement, it has been kind of one of the pairs that hasn't moved at all. Big compression, big resistance in there. Price reacted from this demand zone and now it's kind of ranging. Yep, it feel this compression, so it's reacting from there. Nothing much, literally, absolutely nothing much going on in here. Yeah, we can even take a look at New Zealand, that sometimes is a little bit more correlated with the Aussie, and in the bigger picture, it's another one that is approaching this this low in here. Bigger picture, did it broke any highs? We literally fake out these highs. That's a beautiful zone. We fake out these highs and reacted from this fresh zone in there. That's quite beautiful. Beautiful KM. Price had respected this supply zone. We have this KM in here. We have all these 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even consider this one. And 4, 5 highs in there. And look at that. Gee, that was amazing. I think it created the high at the same time that Aussie created, around February, end of February 2021. I kind of predicted the higher high on the Aussie last year. But this New Zealand's even better. Jesus, that is a beauty. That is literally a beauty. Our price respected this zone in here, respected one time, a lot of times. Again, you would have been fully frustrated if you had waited for price to go there during all this time. Because then price moved thousands of pips to the downside and you would be literally kind of just missed a move. But on the return, when price eventually returns, pay attention to these guys. These kind of supply zones, or kind of supply or demand zones that are aligned with these kind of SR zones, these lows that created these highs. And most importantly, pay attention to this high that is created after the first drop. This one. Pay attention to all this. It's just a beauty. Price even literally just reacted from there. It's just beautiful. Yep. The approach is there. Compression is there. some breaks of starting break some lows on the way up, full compressed, strong move up, and there you go. And you can go. 1 second, because they are not just doing that once. If you still don't believe me, that's one of the best zones to look for reversals. What do you have in here again? It's the first move down. It's the first retrace after the strong move down. Create all those highs. Wait for price to create some highs in there. And there you go. Where price goes, it's kind of the same zone, now in a different scale. If you again another fresh week in there. Yeah, if you still don't believe me that these are one of the best zones to look for bigger reversals in the market. Yeah, don't know what else to say. It's just beautiful. Just look for those. If that's what you want, look for higher time frame reversals. Just look for those. Be entertained with those levels. It's amazing. Yep, New Zealand. Yeah, just continues to move to downside. Are we going to break this major low? Maybe. Anything else on the left side? Did he broke this one? Did he break this one? Yep, we broke it. So yep, I think, yeah, if again, much love from Texas. Hey mate. Jesus, so many guys from US. I don't know what my algorithm is doing. Thank you, man. How are you? How are you doing? What time is in Texas? Texas even it's like it's even bigger, the difference, right? I think it's like 6 hours, 7 hours. How many hours are the difference? I'm in the UK, so yeah. Again, if this was a lower time frame chart, let's pretend like a 15 minutes or 30 minutes time chart. After I see this engulf down, which is quite a beauty, which is exactly what I mentioned before when I say that usually price makes an engulf down on the way up, and usually after that, that can work as a beautiful zone to look for target. It's exactly in here. When price is moving down, that eventually it's a beautiful zone to look for a target, just like it working there. The same way that if it is a beautiful zone to look for a target, it most likely is a beautiful zone to look for an entry as well. Maybe just touch this wick, that gap in here, that space is it's beautiful. And what did I just say on the New Zealand? And in this case, it was after the first retrace, and in this case, it's actually after the first retrace. Beautiful zone to look for a big trade. Yeah, so if this is a 15 minutes time frame chart, after the break of this one, we can look for a retracement. Price can either respect this level or actually go all the way back to here. But this for me, it will be an engulf down, and then eventually, after price reacts from the origin of a move, I'll definitely expect price eventually to break this low before making. So what I want to say is I expect this low to be broken before these highs are broken. That's kind of what I'll be expecting to. So I want to see these lows being. So price can react from here, price can bounce, price can do whatever it wants to, but I'm expecting this low to be broken before even this one is broken. So yeah, expecting new lows on New Zealand and maybe towards to this level. And then we can continue, look left to see exactly where this low is reacting to, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden we do a higher time frame analysis. Maybe don't need to do all that for now. There's maybe a little bit of a time before even price gets to that level, so there's no need for that. Somewhere in here, there's maybe some opportunities for bounces, for price to react from. So let's see what's going to happen on the New Zealand. But yeah, New Zealand on one hand, it looks like it's a little bit leading comparing with the Aussie. Aussie is kind of still reacting from this level, comparing with this low, and New Zealand is much closer already to the low, right? It's if you want to compare both of them, it looks like New Zealand is leading. Yeah, I'm looking for maybe some reaction from this level. In here, maybe below this level. I think that's where price kind of is reacting already. Kind of it's somewhere in here at this point. Maybe it's some reaction from there, some reaction from there. Could be interesting. We are on the H4 or daily chart, so doesn't mean that price will go out this. Maybe just a small reaction to look for maybe a reversal setup in there. Yeah, maybe somewhere in there, maybe below this low as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This spike already took this one, but it will have this one fresh in there. Yeah, let's see what New Zealand is going to do. Why I didn't set up an alert? I actually have an alert in here, okay, and another one in here. Yep. Now, the pair I traded the most this week, dollar CAD, right? Oof, it's been a big fight with this guy. Big fight. A lot of mistakes in terms of not taking the profits when I should. I left a lot of R's on the table, which was yeah, bad from my side. A little bit of overconfidence maybe, or expecting price to break lows to collect to get my targets, and yeah, I got punished. I got punished not just once, not just twice, quite a few times, almost every day of this week with CAD, except Thursday, because Thursday I didn't trade. Yeah, I traded CAD during the app. So some CAD, even someone asked me if I do trade CAD quite often. I don't. I can spend weeks and weeks without even opening a trade on CAD, but for some reason this week it was the pair I traded the most. We talked about that last week, that maybe there's a potential for price to feel at least all this compression and go somewhere in there. Something that I was looking for. There was maybe some reaction from there to be taken, and somewhere in here. So above this high, I was looking for, starting to look for some opportunities. Then somewhere in there as well. And this is actually a level that I'll be looking for. 1367, something like that. Somewhere in there. Eventually price can go even above it. And somewhere in there. But I'll be looking for that level. Price at this point is reacting from here. It reacted from there. Actually, opened a short yesterday. It was the last trade of the week. Just by the closing, I was looking exactly for price to fill this one. CAD has been completely overextended, and I was looking for that reaction just before the kind of the end of the session. It's a setup that I have mentioned in one of my videos on YouTube. After such a strong move, either up or down, usually by the end of the session there's a little bit of a retracement. And if I see some PI, some weakness, that's when I'll be looking for. And usually I also have that, so price is moving up in a strong move. Maybe around 6-7 p.m. we start seeing some compression, some weakness, maybe a little bit of a move down, something like that. And usually before actually the turn, there's a little bit of a spike, or if one of those last move ups, before then kind of looking for that retracement, and then price next day can just resume and continue. But that's exactly the kind of move that I'll be looking for, and that's what I found in there on the cut. Again, price needs also to react from something on the left side, and I found this supply in here. I saw this one in here that had been respected by this one, and above these highs I looked for that small reaction. Nevertheless, I still like this level a little bit above it, and that's where I'm going to be looking for some reaction. And then maybe there's some other zones on the left side to look for. So yeah, literally the last trade I took was this one. Price reacted from there, and I shorted with my target in here. This time, finally, I placed my target in the right spot above this demand zone. That's where I close it. First short was in here, then I opened a second position somewhere in there after price reacted from this KM zone. After breaking that low, I kind of short, so I opened 2 positions in there. Because, for example, something that I did incorrectly, yesterday morning, it was in here. I short in here as well, got some profit in here, and then for some reason, a really big mistake, literally where this line is, that's where my target was. I don't know why I put my target within the demand. It should have been definitely above it. And literally I didn't close my target by like half a pip or 0.1 pips. And then break even. I closed and some in here as soon as I saw kind of the highs being broken. This one. But yeah, second position in there. And then during the FOMC as well. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. Don't know where I shared it. I shortcut on the FOMC as well. I opened 2 positions in there, closed some in there, and I was literally looking for a further move downside. One of the targets was in here, just at this demand that was fresh. I was expecting price to do this, and the last target would be even further down. But literally, I should have closed more positions when I saw the rejection of this low. I didn't break even, so I left a lot of second positions on the table during this week, especially on the cut. Again, I shorted in here. For some reason, stupidity, I was looking for my target below. I was greedy. My target should have definitely be above the low, at least my first target. Sequence, break-even trade on this one as well. And I had a few more like this. So that has been a big battle this week. I'm happy that at least I managed to properly close my trade yesterday at the end of the session. What to expect now on CAD? And I think you can realize, right? Literally, CAD has been creating higher highs, and higher highs, and almost all my trades are literally just shorts. How crazy this is, but that's how my brain, where I look for trades. What can I say? Yeah, short. I don't think I opened any long on CAD, and literally had a full week of creating higher highs on the CAD. It is what it is. Yeah, so next it will be a little bit above it. I could see CAD going a little bit higher. I can kind of maybe already delete this rectangle and going a little bit higher. I actually have a little bit of a cleaner chart on the CAD I was looking for. Yeah, this is higher time frame, a little bit cleaner, maybe going above. So first, some reaction above this high, that's what I'm looking for. That's this 1367 zone, something like that. I'm expecting some reaction in there because this high never really took the orders from there, and this is actually maybe a nice KM zone. Pricing here reacted from the base, right? Reacted from the base of this level, and I will be looking maybe for some reaction from actually then the supply zone, which is actually even aligned with this one. And actually this one that I'm looking for, it's actually aligned with this one. So there's maybe some opportunities in there. Eventually price can even continue to go higher and retest this one in there. If price wants to continue to go higher, eventually all this is compressed and price can go above this high. But that's quite a big ask for now. Actually, looking at the bigger picture, we never broke this low. I think we did broke this one. Yeah, we broke that one, so maybe it can be seen as an engulf down. We have this above top, and let's see what price is going to do. I actually like this place in here that can be filled, and maybe a little bit of a reversal. We can see how this compression on the way up, and yeah, let's see. It's a little bit extended or overextended so far. I want to see maybe, of course, I want to see some kind of compression before maybe some kind of bigger reversal on the cut. Yeah, that's where I'll be looking for. Yep. Yeah, nothing much on the downside. So yeah, that's cut. In terms of maybe some zones to look for targets or how price is approaching the zone. Just like I had it, I still have this level. This level can be really interesting. 133.431 for potential long, or yeah, especially if we look for longs. Target can look for targets still above this zone in there, but for a potential bounce from there, I really like this level. It's left behind, and we have all this accumulation of lows. What else? Is price taken anything from there? Yeah, price has taken this one. Yeah, you can see we had this really important level of resistance, and it's mostly taken in there. I think I moved it. Yeah, it's mostly taken in with this low. Something in there has been maybe taken already. Maybe the next one could be a little bit below. Yeah. In there as well. Yeah, I do like a little bit of the move how price is going, or it's been going up now. I do like kind of a little bit of this compression. Maybe you can see price eventually to have that turn, and I do like that level that I mentioned before. So I like the approach so far. I already have a little bit of high, complete rejection. We took this one, but then we respected the next one. Yeah, I like it. I like how price is starting to approach in here on the cut. So I'll be paying attention to that level that I mentioned before. Yeah, I'll be definitely paying attention to that level. Dollar franc Swiss, it was another one that we talked last week, which was somewhere in here. We had also the hike on the interest rate decision. There's been the first time, I think, since 2014 that interest rate decision on the interest rate on the National Central Bank of Switzerland is positive. So it has been kind of minus 0.5, then minus 0.25, and now it's 0.5 positive after almost 8 years. It moved higher. Was not really expecting price to go down from here, and I'm still actually expecting for price to take this double top. It was a really nice reaction from this supply there, from this origin. Price has been kind of bouncing in between here, but I'll be surprised if price doesn't really go higher, somewhere close to that level. That's where I'll be looking for. And just once more, just as I mentioned, that small engulf up on the way up, that small engulf down on the way up, it's exactly this. Happen exactly just like that. If you pay attention in the lower time frame, that you had an impulse up, retrace, price continues to go higher, and then this is whatever it needs to do, a small engulf, and then continuation. If you notice this engulf in here, right, that engulf in there, and then maybe something in there, or maybe just something underneath this wall. What you want to see now is something underneath this wall, price taking this wall, and then then making a decision, either completely retraces or whatever it does. It's a beautiful zone to look for either a target or for some reaction. And exactly what happened in there. And why not, right? The space again between this level, price eventually reacted from here as well. So yeah, if you do pay attention to those details, yeah, it's a really nice way to define higher time frame targets when we are then in this move down, right? So it's not every short that you're going to be attempting to that one. It's actually when price finally has a nice reaction from a higher time frame level, and there's maybe it starts building up the possibility that price wants to go and go and go. Where to is actually really nice, and a really nice one. Even this one as well. think it happened as well. Nice reaction from here. Yeah, so that's a nice way to build up some zones. So yeah, our friend is expecting price to go, maybe go higher. Gold just continues to move to the downside. We talked about that as well, that we had this previous level. Okay, we broke those major level of structure of support, where price can go to. Initially respects exactly that levels, previous support, but then the next level of support is actually a little bit above it. It's a clear and clean supply zone. It's just exactly what you should expect, right? And it's amazing how they create these kind of fake highs in here in the middle, and they kind of then can manipulate. Everyone's going to be starting looking just for sales in here. Forget that this is actually the supply level. We actually have a really nice zone of support resistance as well in here. And then there you go. We have the continuation to the downside. Where is the gold heading to? That's a good question. Most likely we're going to take this low. Yeah, let's see. I think I already saw there's a really beautiful demand just below this wick. There's this level in there. Let's see. Again, is there the potential a higher time frame? I'm sorry. I do like even for price to go all the way back to here, but maybe that's a big ask for now. There's definitely some zones to react from somewhere along the way. So yeah, play zone by zone, look for how price is approaching the levels and how price is reacting. Now crypto. So Bitcoin. Yeah. First of all, guys, thank you for watching. Even if you are watching the recording later on, I appreciate it. Feel free to ask any questions or to let me know what are the key points that you have taken from this, or if you agree with my analysis, if you completely disagree with my analysis. What do you expect for next week? Feel free to comment. Or if you have any questions about anything that I'm saying, any maybe concept, or why do I think that that's how I'm looking at the market, feel free to ask, and I can then cover it on Tuesdays. Tuesday webinar is mostly for that. If you have any analysis that you have taken or that you are looking at, or any like why did price behave like this, whatever, you can share that charts with me, and I will go and review them on Tuesday's webinar, which is more educational. So here we are, Bitcoin reacting from the lows from June. It's literally kind of where the indices are reacting from as well. Are we going to break these lows? Are we going to respect them? Are you going to finally create new lows? I've seen now people, of course, zooming out, start looking for a higher time frame picture. I've been kind of always bearish on these indices, on this crypto. It may be a big ask to go to 12k. I don't know if it goes there or not. I like that level. I like the zone below this lows, this compression. Above that can be some reaction. Below this low there's going to be some reaction as well. Make it properly. Yeah, somewhere in there. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen in here. I could see price going further down, eventually create the lows. I think this one in here is actually a really nice way to give some hope to the people, to some people, maybe hoping that price actually, we are going to resume the move to the upside, and this is the best zone to enter because you're just retesting the lows. That maybe I can actually see price going and creating new lows. At this point, in terms of breaking highs that I would like to see, we haven't really done that. This one has been respected, even this one as well. We haven't really done that on this approach in here. So yeah, this one was a nice reaction from this SR zone where this high reacted from. So not exactly any proper engulf to the upside before maybe the resume up. So yeah, let's see what BTC is going to do, if it's going to break new lows or not. And if it does break new lows, where are you going to? Key levels can we see then afterwards? I have this gap in here. For sure this gap doesn't really exist, but maybe it can be a good zone to look for some reaction in there. We have all these left shoulders as well in here, so maybe some reaction from there below these lows can be a good zone for BTC to react from, and that can actually be quite interesting. Yeah, why not reacting quite nicely from there? 17,000. We do have this demand, which actually has been taken by this one already. Nothing much in there. We have this one in there. Yep, even this one as well. Putting up some alerts in there. And to fake out this low. Yeah, this one has been taken already by this guy. Something below this one. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what BTC is going to do. Somewhere below this low, it will be actually something interesting as well. It is already 12,600. Let's see. Let's see what BTC is going to do. Something else that you can do also is look left. Maybe some zone that should have been respected and it wasn't. Maybe that can be a good zone as well for price to bounce from. Maybe we have this high as well in here, which maybe aligns quite nice with something in there. Yeah, it's something that you can do to try to find out some zones for price to react from. All right, and then to finish today's live stream, let's just take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is a little bit more far away from the lows comparing with BTC. So Bitcoin is literally kind of retesting already in here. Ethereum is a little bit farther away. It was a really nice reaction from this demand. Everyone can see it, right? Nice reaction. Now, is price going to manage to break new highs from here or not? That's what you're going to see. This is a nice zone to look for some longs. It doesn't mean that price will go and create new highs from here, right? So manage your expectations on your trades. Literally long from here, retesting this previous level of support resistance. That could have been a nice intraday trade. This high, did it reacted from that zone? Yeah, it looks like it reacted from the base of this. Yeah, interesting. Reacted from there as well. Let's see if we're going to create new lows as well on Ethereum, eventually below this level. There's still a demand zone in there that is fresh. These lows never really got there, so some reaction from here could be also a possibility. 971. Something in there as well. Is this left shoulder something relevant? And let's see. So far, I actually don't mind where Ethereum is reacting from. I did mind it a little bit more somewhere in here. I was expecting price to go further down. I didn't really. For me, that wouldn't be the zone where price would create new highs from this level, but now from here it's a little bit different. And here, even further out. I actually may prefer even further down in here. Yeah, just in terms of where should I expect, if in the scenario that price is about to kind of create new highs, where would be kind of a high probability zone where price actually kind of needed to go before actually reversing. Yeah, maybe a little bit to the origin of this move up. That will make sense for price to go there. Retesting this SR zone as well that created this low. Let's see. That's where I'll be looking for. Maybe price now is going to just kind of move in a compression way until let's see what's going to do somewhere in there. That's what I'll be looking for in here. Okay, yeah, it has been a long stream. 2 hours and 10. Jesus, I'm dead. I'm thirsty and I'm starving. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for being in here with me. A few new people that interacted with me today. So thank you so much. Hopefully I'll continue to grow a little bit more my YouTube channel as well. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter as well. That's where I'm more active. Yeah, next live stream is going to be on Tuesday, again 6 p.m. UK time. And then yeah, so we are approaching the last week of September, and we have been mentioning for a long time that September could be that red bearish month. That's at least it was the looking back in 73, 2001 and 2008. That's what happened during these bearish markets, and we got that big bearish market happening in September. It actually started a little bit in the end of August, and you have it. And let's see what's going to happen next. So we are approaching the last quarter of the year. Yeah, time to define some goals, finish the year strongly, to then approach 2023 even stronger. Yeah, thank you guys. I will see you next Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend, relaxed, and we are back to trade on Monday. Thank you so much. See you next time. Obrigado.